problem with the United States absorbing Canada?
Well, first of all, Jesse, you know, I love the U.S. I love Americans, and I get it. You know, President-elect Trump is a real estate tycoon. He's made billions, but that property's not for sale. As simple as that. But I have a better idea, Jesse. Why don't we create Fortress AmCan and make sure it's the richest, wealthiest, most prosperous jurisdiction in 2 countries anywhere in the world? We have the critical minerals, we have the energy, we have the electricity.
Is this the emasculation ritual I heard so much about? Is this the cuck chair? Really good at making everyone suddenly talk about the thing he wants them to talk about, even if it's not the thing that he wants them to concentrate on, or to distract everybody. And he's not even in power yet. And there's what, like 12, 10, 11 days left until Trump, assumes the throne. Hopefully not forever. And in that period of time, he's shown us that all he has to do from the comfort of his home, I think he did that entire broadcast from Mar-a-Lago, because he's the president. I know a lot of people are like, he's joking. These are jokes. The president-elect. The president-elect doesn't quite have the same, let's just say, troll leniency that other people do get. Because if you're the president-elect and you start saying, I want to nuke or bomb a country, and you happen to be the most powerful nation in the world, well, then other people start to maybe get a bit nervous. And then if all the media in that country starts to kind of take it half jokingly, half seriously, I would say half jokingly, CNN, and then half seriously, Fox News, well, then, yeah, obviously people start to get a little nervous. Now, can he pull it off? No. Disastrous. We're talking about cataclysmic, world-changing events. But can it make people very, very scared? And can it actually, really put politicians to task in the respective countries, say Greenland and Canada right now, in terms of what the response is going to be? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, a couple days ago, a discovery came out that was verified by the international scientific community that turned out to be true, that China has effectively ended tooth decay through scientific discovery. A beautiful thing. The thing that should be in the front headlines, or even if we want to talk about climate change, like Jeremy Corbyn wrote a really good article in The Guardian about climate change, another thing that probably should be talked about more in the media. But no, we all got to talk about Trump being silly. Once again, because his silliness is actually making every politician in Canada have to respond in one way or another. So right now, the reviews are in, and they suck. Almost every single Canadian politician has been shitty, either starting out semi-not shitty, but then becoming shitty. We don't really have a prime minister right now, so it's kind of a wild time. Trudeau tried. When Trump initially was like, I'm going to be doing a 25% tariff on all goods imported from Canada, and everyone's like, that will cause a global economic collapse, and he didn't want to listen to it, and he's probably going to do it anyway, because he's just one to do things. Trudeau was like, you know what, I'm going to fly over to Mar-a-Lago, I'm going to kiss the ring, and then everything will be good, and that's where all of this shit started. That's when Trump was like, why don't you just become the 51st state? It's not like we get a bad investment on Canada, terrible investment. We gotta just put you in order and make you all Americans. So we're gonna colonize you. How about that? So that's not really an ideal outcome. And then a lot of politicians here, including Daniel Smith in Alberta, were just straight up like, Trump's right. All the fentanyl, it comes in from Canada. Yes, and all the illegals come in from Canada. We have to secure our border. Whatever Trump wants, we have to do. The reason this is a really interesting time politically, especially in Canada specifically, is because all of the right-wingers and conservatives, whether they be Pierre, whether they be Daniel Smith, whether they be Doug Ford, they've in one way or another kind of aligned themselves with Trump or MAGA, or simply the idea of like, well, yeah, he's a no-nonsense conservative, Republican, right-winger, and we like that, and we try to do the same thing here. He's trying to make America great again. We want to make Canada great again. He's saying America first, we're saying Canada first. And so this is a time where he's saying, I'm going to colonize you. And so now all of them are kind of like, ew, oh, shit. Not like that. Not like that. Okay, that's not what we were thinking. And so we got Fox and Friends.
MAGA global domination. The Pres-elect holding his second news conference at Mar-a-Lago since wiping the floor with the Dems back in November, Harold. He kicked things.
You would like to be the 11th province. How about it? California?
California, what do you say? You get that. See, I know a lot of Americans are kind of like, well, if we did that, then we get some of the Canadian stuff, right? And it's like, no. If America takes over Canada, they're going to turn Canada into America. But California, if y'all join us, and we'll take Washington as well. If y'all join us, and Oregon, by the way, love you, Oregon. Don't throw any shade here, okay? You know what? The entire West Coast. If the entire West Coast wants to join us, you will get healthcare. There's a deal. That sounds fun. Oh, and also infrastructure. We'll put a lot of money into fixing the roads and all that kind of stuff, and maybe even moose or moosei or mooses, the plural of mooses.
Oregon, Washington.
I think I saw her in an insurance commercial. So Jesse, okay, this renaming stuff, it's largely symbolic, but at least he's renaming something on behalf of America. When the Dems rename things, whether it's Columbus Day or schools, it's to reduce America's patriotism. It's like, we can't name it after a president. We can't name it after Christopher Columbus. We have to denigrate America. He's saying, Gulf of Mexico? Nah. Gulf of America.
And how are you going to disagree with that?
Yeah.
You can't.
The right loves this shit. Yeah. Again, dude, just ramping up the imperialism, and it's all jokes. I know. I'm being reminded by, Americans on social media every day. It's like, what? You can't take a joke. They're fucking joking. Okay, but he's the president-elect. Did you not realize that? I would do the same thing if any other world leader was talking this shit. Okay? If Macron was suddenly like, oh, by the way, a lot of countries in Africa should be more thankful for, the gifts of colonization of the French, well, I would say that he's a racist piece of shit. Oh, he did say that. Yes, he's a racist piece of shit. Like, these are world leaders. What they say matters. They don't get to be internet trolls like the rest of us, okay? If you don't want that, don't become a politician. Don't become a world leader. Don't become a president. But as the president, especially as the world's largest and most powerful military, yeah, what you say matters. It absolutely does.
So you're going to come out against America? What are you, for the Mexicans? Permission to make an analogy?
Wait, sorry, that was a joke? I don't know where they begin or end on these shows.
Permission granted.
This is like Tyrus. Tyrus's neighborhood. And Tyrus is kind of like the neighborhood watch, the one-man neighborhood watch. And he has...
Yeah, thank you. If Putin made one of those statements, there wouldn't be a single Republican or liberal in any of Western media who would be like, oh, he's just joking. No, the guy's joking. He's a funny man. He says the things he wants to say, and then sometimes he does them. Sometimes he might do an annexation or two, but he's joking. He's joking. These are jokes.
Happens to also have the biggest house in the neighborhood, and he also happens to be a trillionaire. And one day, Tyrus takes a stroll in the neighborhood, looking around, and he sees a house that is next door that he likes. And he knocks on the door, knock, knock. How much? Oh, this house is not for sale. Well, of course it is. How much? Oh, this house is not for sale. Well, I can take it by force, or you guys can sleep on it, and maybe tomorrow you can tell me what the price is. That's where we are with Trump. He is America's real estate tycoon. So he's testing the waters. He's flexing his muscle. He's just seeing what's possible out there and trying to find out the new contours of the new world order and ultimately trying to get a better deal for America. And I think the grand strategy...
And, what happened? All the rubes. So many rubes. I blame Glenn Greenwald, among others, but all the rubes who were just like anti-war right. The right, they're not concerned with all this kind of geopolitics, colonization, imperialism, wars, forever wars. They're nationalists. They're nationalists, and they want to concentrate on just making sure that they make America great again. That's why it's the slogan. Reagan wanted to do it. We want to do it. That's what the right cares about. They don't care about all this kind of global domination. I've got look at the Chiron. MAGA global domination. November wasn't that long ago. It was only a couple months ago. What, November to January? It went from like, no, we're nationalists. We really don't care about, global domination. We also want global domination. What happened to all the Ben Shapiros, the Alex Joneses, the fucking every single person who was always talking to us about the elites and the globalists and, Matt Walsh going off about this shit and Tucker Carlson saying the New World Order and the woke left wants to do globalization. Again, look at the Chiron.
Strategy is create a North American trade, energy, and security network that gets the best terms for us. Now, I looked into...
Cool. Do any of you know what you're talking about? Again, did you know how much fucking energy you get from Canada? So like, I'm just going to put this out there. The whole, like, taking Canada over through a purchase, y'all can't afford it. The entire taking it over through military force, that'll probably start a, World War III. So none of those options are on the table. But third thing, the tariffs. Yeah, well, what if you impose tariffs? And what if you get retaliatory tariffs? And what if in those retaliatory tariffs, they also start limiting access to, say, resources? That would be an absolute disaster for America. Bad for Canada, too. I'm not saying that any of this is good, but it's like Trump's not even in power yet. He's not even in power yet. And already, this is all a complete and utter nightmare. And dominating, of course, media cycles, because everyone, yes, has to take this shit seriously when the president-elect starts saying it.
Greenland.
No, you didn't.
I did. So the pros of Greenland are a lot of minerals, great. You could project a lot of force to counter Russia through there. But it's also a very poor country. And we basically do whatever we want there anyway, and it would really piss off Denmark and all of Scandinavia, and they would ruin our access to the North Sea and the Baltic. See, I did study, Greg. And then in terms of Panama, yes, I definitely think they need to reduce the transit rates because we're getting ripped off every time we sail through there. But I don't want to occupy that stupid country. It's run by cartels. That'd be a mess. Canada. At first I wanted it. And I tried to divide it into 2 states. And then I realized we'd be adding Montana, basically, for the Republicans, and electorally like a Texas for the Democrats. And I don't like that. But the fact that they don't want us to take them over makes me want to invade. I want to quench my imperialist thirst.
And good for you. Harold.
I know they're jokes, of course, obviously. They're jokes. It's just like you don't really get this in the same way from a lot of other places. I know, it's insanity. Honestly, it is. This is the largest news network in America, Fox News. He's joking. Yeah, I know he's joking. What's he joking about, though? I'm sorry, you can't just hide behind the memes 24/7. And the fact that, again, on the largest news network in the entire US of A, the fact that this is suddenly being something where it's like, it's funny, right? Isn't it funny? I don't know. Again, have we gotten to the nuke the whales part of the story where all of a sudden people can just say whatever they want on these massive media networks? Again, it's editorial, it's commentary, they're joking. Well, yeah, the president-elect is repeating what they're saying, and they're basically basing it off him, but he's not going to do it. It's not serious. None of it's serious. Don't worry. Don't stress out. But don't worry, Canadians, if you're scared, Doug Ford is coming to save us. He decided to go on himself on Fox News. That's right. And go toe-to-toe with Jesse in a debate. I don't know. Should I play the debate intro? I don't even know where I put that thing. Oh, this.
And right now.
No, I shouldn't, because it's not at all what happens.
Ford, the Premier of Ontario, Canada, joins me now. All right, Premier. By the way, I loved your brother. We did an interview. Great guy.
Yeah,
What's your problem with the United States absorbing Canada?
Well, first of all, Jesse, I love the U.S. I love Americans, and I get it. President-elect Trump is a real estate tycoon. He's made billions, but that property's not for sale. As simple as that. But I have a better idea, Jesse. Why don't we create Fortress Amcan and make sure it's the richest, wealthiest, most prosperous jurisdiction in the 2 countries anywhere in the world? We have the critical minerals, we have the energy, we have the electricity.
Is this the emasculation ritual I heard so much about? Is this the cuck chair? The cuck cage that I was always told about from conservatives fucking 24/7? The fuck is happening? You can't get in on the memes, Doug. You can't do that. It's like, oh yeah, that'll be funny. So they're talking about like taking us over. All right, yeah, no, I'll go on Fox News. I can make this funny. All right, so how about this counter offer? We team up and then we just take over the entire planet. What about that? What about Team Canada America and we just do global domination? Has that ever been tried before? Global domination? Does it work out for the countries that try that? Or the PACs? Or say the Axis that try that? Sounds fun though, right?
That America needs. And there's only one place I'd want to sell it to, and that's the U.S.
Well, you could sell it to us or we could all own it together. And that's a choice we can all make together. You say this isn't for sale, but everything has a price. The $1 Million Man says that. Can you think of this more as a merger instead of an acquisition? Don't think about being taken over. Think about this as a...
No, I know. They're memeing. And what the fuck are you memeing with him for, Doug Ford? But this isn't fucking a Twitch stream. This is fucking the biggest news network in America. Everyone is like, it's all jokes. Don't you get it? Yeah, this isn't like, you know, some guy on the internet who took the silly Knuckles cartoon and then was like, that's funny, right? And then the epic and the guy's a premier of an entire province. He's a real human. He's an elected official.
Coming together.
Yeah, we can come together on a great trade deal. We're two greatest countries in the world. Do you know what the problem is? I've lived 20 years in the U.S. Matter of fact, I spent a lot of time in Philly, where you did, for 7 years, and in Chicago. There's not one American that I speak to out there, Jesse, that has a problem with Canada. Do you know what the problem is? China's the problem.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. This shit is just so fucking absurd. You know who's not doing this? Fucking Mexico. I saw Claudia Sheinbaum today, once again, pointing out like the history of the Panama Canal and trying to educate people and being the adult in the room while this fucking clown is memeing with fucking Jesse Waters. Just being like, yeah, how I got a counteroffer. How about instead of you take us over, we combine forces, we take over the world. Lol. Yeah, keck. That was funny. Hey, you know what the real problem is? It's not Americans. I love America. I lived in America. I want to be America. I love America. Okay, I'll fucking, what do you want me to say? It's China. China bad. The problem is the Chinese. You can agree with that, right? Fox News? You hate the Chinese too, don't you?
China is shipping in cheap parts into Mexico, and then Mexico slapping a Made in Mexico sticker on, shipping.
Now you're going after Mexico? What are you doing? America isn't going to save you. Again, this shit is so sad. It's so sad. The conservatives, they are in a really weird position. They can't both be, yeah, MAGA's awesome, fucking cringe ass, I wish I was American shit. And at the same time, you know that they're threatening your autonomy right now. That's the whole bit, the bit that you're a part of, the joke, the meme that you're doing right now on Fox. That's what the meme is, taking you over. I know, but look at this. Got the American flag, the Canadian, the Ontario flag.
It up through the U.S. and Canada, costing American and Canadian jobs. Like, Mexico has to make a choice, Jesse.
I get
They're
it.
either with Beijing or Washington.
No, I get it.
You know what this is? This is basically the psychology of being bullied. When you're bullied, and you're bullied inside like a playground, because these are all little boys, all of them, from Trump to Doug Ford to Jesse Watt, all little boys on a playground, and you get bullied. You don't want to stand up to the bully. That's hard. It's harder to stand up to a bully, you know? But it's a lot easier to join the bully and then pick on the other kids. So then be like, stop picking on Canada. You don't pick on Canada. Ooh, woo. We'll team up with you. Let's pick on Mexico. Yeah, Mexico likes China. Mexico has a crush on China. Mexico wants to marry China. Don't you hate that? Yeah, I hate that too. Come on, Jesse.
I get it. You say that Americans don't have a problem with Canadians, and we don't. But it seems like you have a problem with us. Because if I were a citizen of another country and I was a neighbor of the United States, I would consider it a privilege to be taken over by the United States of America. That's what everybody else in the world wants, American citizenship. For some reason, that's repellent to you Canadians. And I find that personally offensive, Premier.
Well,
This is a real news program. This is a real politician. Like, genuinely. I'm not watching a YouTube parody right now. This is real life.
you know something, Jesse? We're proud Canadians, just like there's proud Americans. And if we join together and take on the world with a great trade deal between us, I think that'd be fabulous. No one could stop us.
Well, that's the point, because Trump says we're paying to protect Canada a lot, but Canada's ripping America off on trade.
You can see at this point, he's like, fuck, this was a bad idea. I thought I could get on there and be the meme lord, and then he'd be friendsies with me. I thought if I just throw like Mexico under the bus and then I just talk shit about China, then he would be like, okay, we can agree on that. All right, well then maybe we'll team together. But he's not. They're drunk. They're drunk on blood now. Doug, don't you see this?
So why don't we just redraw the map to make it fair?
So we're the largest trading partner in the world, 1.3 trillion. So the only area that we have a little upper
Well,
hand is
Mexico
on
has
the
you beat, but you're a close second. Go ahead.
That's not true. That's not true.
So we ship down 4.3 million barrels a day down to the U.S.
Stop laughing. All of you. What is wrong with you? This shit is so pathetic. Again, I guess I finally get to see what the emasculation ritual looks like, because I'm witnessing before a bunch of boys in rooms in charge of the world's largest fucking weaponry arsenals and fucking energy supplies. Like, it's just so fucking pathetic. Again, Claudia Sheinbaum is like the only world leader in you know, the section of North America that Mexico occupies that is actually acting like an adult right now. Whereas everyone else just wants to fucking get in on the memes. What? Get in on the imperial memes of Donald Trump, the president-elect? What were you thinking, Doug?
Ontario is the third largest trading partner in the world with $500 billion of two-way trade split down the middle. Jesse, 9 million Americans wake up every single morning.
And by the way, none of the other conservatives were anywhere fucking even close to being better. Daniel Smith responds with this. Canada is a strong independent nation with the 9th largest economy in the world, and our southern neighbor benefits from this economic strength. Please love us. Please. We're good to you. We are the United States' best customer. We buy your things too. We buy money. We buy more products and services from the US than any other single nation, and more than Germany, UK, France, Italy, and Vietnam combined. Interesting for you to throw Vietnam in there. We can strengthen our partnership even further in the coming years by securing our shared border and fighting unfair Chinese trade practices that harm workers in both countries. Did you all get a memo? The solution to this is not to be, I don't know, independent or be like, you probably shouldn't threaten a sovereign nation. It's to just be like, but we're so good to you. We're so good to you. Come on. We love you. We love you so much. Ooh boo. The bad guys are the Chinese and the Mexicans. Can you just pick on the Mexicans? You used to just pick on the Mexicans. And that's also true, by the way. Trump used to usually target Mexico. And at that point, if you were a human, you should have been disgusted by it. You should have been like, it's pretty vile and fucked up and racist of him to be like Mexicans are rapists. They're bringing drug dealers, all that kind of shit. But, you know, at that point, it was just, again, school bullies. School bullies. When you're watching school bullies, it's totally fine if some kid in the corner is getting picked on and it's not you. And so you're just sitting back and be like, man, I'm glad that's not me. Man, that kid is getting bullied right now. Yeah, I'm not going to stand up for him, though, because, nope, hopefully he never bullies me instead. Oh, he's bullying me. Okay, well, don't go after me. Go after him. Go get the Mexico's right over there. I told you, Mexico has a crush on China. Mexico wants to marry China. I saw it. They were kissing behind the lockers. Go over after them. Get mad. I will continue to share with Americans the economic story Alberta has to tell, and that's why I will be in Washington during the inauguration. Like, you cowards. You absolute cowards. Are the Chinese not a problematic force in the world right now? China's not threatening to take over Canada, so I don't know what to tell you. The U.S. is. The president-elect is. Can you sort that out? And then maybe we can talk about it.
To produce products for Ontario alone. I love the Americans, and I look forward to working with the new administration.
All right, so this might just have to be a hostile takeover. Let's move on. I see we are going to agree to disagree. Want to go halvesies on Greenland?
No, we're good. You know, I hope Don Jr. is wearing those winter woolies, keeping warm over there.
All right, very much appreciated you joining Jesse Waters Prime Time. We'll do this again soon.
If you didn't know, that was Donald Trump Jr., who's now in Greenland, along with Charlie Kirk. We'll get to them. I do want to talk about Pierre, the future Prime Minister of Canada, and what his statement was. So he started with what I believe is a pretty strong statement. Canada will never be the 51st state, period. I was like, okay, here we go. He's going to talk about how it's wrong for another sovereign nation to threaten to either buy or take over through military force or economic force Canada. That's where we're going down. We are a great and independent country. We are the best friend to the U.S. It didn't last long. It lasted a sentence. All right. Why are we so great, and why is the U.S. so amazing? We spend billions of dollars and hundreds of lives helping Americans retaliate against Al-Qaeda's 9/11 attacks. We supply the U.S. with billions of dollars of high-quality and totally reliable energy well below market price. We buy hundreds of billions of dollars of American goods. Our weak and pathetic NDP Liberal government has failed to make these obvious points. I will fight for Canada. When I am Prime Minister, we will rebuild our military and take back control of the border to secure both Canada and the U.S. So you're just doing what Trump told you to do. This isn't at all about standing up to Trump. This is just like, yeah, he's right, though. There are a lot of illegals that come into the U.S. from Canada, so we kind of do need a secure border. Who are we borders with again? We will take back control of our Arctic to keep Russia and China out. We will axe taxes, slash red tape, and rapidly greenlight massive resource projects to bring home paychecks and production in our country. In other words, we will put Canada first, by putting America first and Canada second. So, Jagmeeta actually had a pretty strong statement compared to the rest of the kids.
Donald Trump is acting more like an internet troll than a president of the United States. I don't think that's the way you act as a president, and it's certainly not the way you interact with other countries. But as I mentioned, I've dealt with bullies throughout my life, and I know what it's like. Even if you're the smaller guy, even if you're outnumbered, you got to make it not worth the bully's while. Bullies only understand strength. They only understand strength and pain. So you have to make sure you're standing up and showing that if you want to take that decision to fight with us, to pick a fight with us, it's going to hurt you too. And so I want to issue a challenge actually on your show today. For anyone that's running for prime minister, I've committed that Canada would respond with retaliatory tariffs. If Trump imposes tariffs on Canada, we should respond with tariffs. That's how you respond to a bully. You got to respond with strength. So my challenge is for anyone else out there who's running.
Thank you. Holy fuck. Was that so hard? Was that so hard? Honestly, just treat it seriously. Don't get it on the memes. Like, what the fuck are you all doing? Why is everyone being a clown right now? Like, again, I think it's just because conservatives and right-wingers, they like Trump. They love him. And they love him so much. Like, Daniel Smith actually would probably want to be a part of America. So, Alberta, if you're looking to become American, I mean, now is your opportunity. But, yeah, for everyone else, it's basically like, well, I don't want to talk shit about the guy. I don't want to say anything mean about him. The other day, when Trump was asked about Pierre, the upcoming Prime Minister of Canada, most likely based on how the way the polling is going, he will become the next Prime Minister. They were asking Trump, so what do you think about the guy? He's like, he might win, might not. We'll see. I don't care. It has nothing to do with that. Yeah, that's how he's going to talk about you. That's why this is not an opportunity to be like, yes, Donald Trump has some valid points. Maybe we should secure our border. Maybe we should try and stop all the fentanyl coming into the U.S., which is not coming from Canada. But either way, we got to validate what he says. Otherwise, he might be mean to us. He might bully us. We can't let him bully us. If he bullies us, oh no, what happens then? And his treatment of Greenland isn't much better.
Hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We don't need anything they have.
But a lot of his supporters also just like that he bucks tradition.
Wow, things are pretty stupid right now, aren't they? So Donald Trump.
I feel like that's going to be like the start of every day of 2025. Just that clip. I think I could take that clip and use it every day in 2025. It's just gonna be reality.
Trump, in a press conference today, made some comments about various allies that he wants to take over. It's hard to know how much of this to actually take seriously, because on one hand, this is so completely insane. On the other, Donald Trump is completely insane. So this could be a negotiating tactic for whatever his other purposes are. could be a way to distract from the things he actually plans to do, or it could be a real idea that he is laying out in front of us. So I'm going to get to a few of these clips, as well as some reaction online.
Well, first off, Trump calls in Junior, puts him on the speaker. He says we need to take over Greenland. There are ships sailing around, and they're not the right ships.
It needs security for itself, but it also needs security very much for the world. The location really, you see the people and the ships sailing around, and they're not the right ships, and they're not the ships you want to know about. So we need security, and our country needs it, and the whole world needs it.
Yes.
You're so strategically looking.
Yeah.
So it's really imperative.
You are right.
I just want to thank everybody.
You guys like that, right?
The anti-war right, y'all. The anti-war right. Yep. You rubes. You're fucking duped. No, he's going to end international conflict. He's definitely a nationalist. He doesn't have imperial ambitions. There's going to be an army of MAGA hats fucking charging the beaches. I should say the icy shores. The icy shores of Greenland. We're doing it for Haktua in the name of Haktua. Trump, MAGA for life. Oh, so profoundly silly.
Right now, and Don, come say hi. It's amazing this thing here. It's not as cold as I thought it would be. What's happening, guys? I just stay out here for a few more minutes. There was a missionary that back in the 17th century. It's unbelievable. He's actually snatched it. So anyway, look at this vista, everybody. And make Greenland great again.
Make Greenland great again. They're on the shores. By the way, Greenland says despite Trump's threats and son's visit, they aren't for sale. As Donald Trump continues to talk about taking control of Greenland, his oldest son, Donald Trump Jr., traveled to the autonomous Danish territory on Tuesday, but Greenland and Danish officials are making it clear they want nothing to do with what Trumps are proposing. Don Jr. and my reps landing in Greenland, Trump wrote on social media. The reception has been great. They and the free world need safety, security, strength, and peace. This is a deal that must happen. MAGA, make Greenland great again. In a statement, Greenland's government said the younger Trump's visit was taking place as a private individual and not as an official visit, and Greenlandic representatives would not meet with him. Why not? Further, Denmark's Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, said on Tuesday that Greenland belongs to the Greenlanders. The island is not for sale. She said, adding that we need to stay calm and stick to our principles. Trump Jr., speaking at a podcast on Monday, said he was making a trip without any political motivation, calling it a personal trade trip. The visit nonetheless had political overtones. The president-elect had a desire, also expressed his first presidency, to acquire this territory in the Arctic, an area of strategic importance for the U.S., China, Russia, and others. And shortly after his son touched down on Greenland, Trump told the news conference that he wouldn't rule out using military force or economic coercion to take control of Greenland, saying that we need it for national security. The world's largest island, Greenland sits between the Atlantic and the Arctic Ocean. 80% of it is covered by an ice sheet. The autonomous territory has 56,000 residents. I was close. I said 58,000 yesterday. Most of them indigenous Inuit people. Greenland's Prime Minister, Mute Eged, has called for independence from Denmark, saying that New Year's speech that it would be a way for Greenland to free itself from its colonial past. But Eged also said that it has no interest in Greenland becoming part of the U.S., insisting the island is not for sale. Independence has become a key issue ahead of the election for the Greenland Parliament. A date hasn't been set, but it must take place no later than April 6th. Ajda Schemnitz, the Greenlandic member of the Danish Parliament, told the Associated Press she has no interest in Greenland becoming part of the U.S. and said she hears the same sentiment from her constituents. Most people don't want it, she said. I think some people find it quite disrespectful. And the way it has been done, and just the fact that you're saying that it can be done to buy another country. Trump says the sights on Canada too. Greenland isn't the only locale outside of the U.S. that Trump has spoken about acquiring and making part of the United States, and he can't stop talking about Canada becoming the 51st state. In the same Tuesday press conference, he said he wouldn't rule out military force or economic coercion on Greenland, and he's made similar threats and actions against Canada. When asked by a reporter if he was considering the same annex and acquire Canada, Trump responded, no. Economic force. Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You can get rid of that artificially drawn line and take a look at what it looks like, and it would be much better for national security. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau responded shortly after Trump's threat, writing on social media, there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the U.S. Workers and communities in both countries benefit from being each other's biggest trading and security partner, he added. Trump repeatedly said that the U.S. subsidizes Canada to the tune of $200 billion in trade and spends billions more on continental defense programs like NORAD than Canada, who he says doesn't essentially have a military. We don't even have a military. We don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber, he continued. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. Let's take a quick look. Canada supplies U.S. with energy. I think it's 98% of its electric gas now, but I could be wrong. From the official Government of Canada website. Did you know Canada is the largest supplier of energy to the United States? In 2021, Canada supplied the U.S. with 61% of its crude oil. In 2020, Canada supplied the U.S. with 98% of its natural gas and 93% of its electricity exports. This is just energy, by the way. We turn your lights on. We are your lights. We're your energy. Do you want like all the power to just turn off? And 28% of its uranium purchases, helping power millions of homes, businesses, and cities from coast to coast. I'm sorry, but like, I think more Americans need to know that. More Americans need to realize this because, again, this is the president-elect, and what he's saying does matter. And when he comes to power, you know, very, very shortly, well, if he's like, we don't need anything that Canada gives us. You like energy, though. Energy's nice. Being able to heat your homes is nice. Having the power on. Do you like playing your PlayStation 5? You can't do that without electricity. You need electricity. We don't need anything, so why are we losing $200 billion a year in more to protect Canada? Siri, what is trade deficit? Google trade deficit. Look up trade deficit. Check out what trade deficit is.
You know, besides cheap gas, cheap eggs, and freedom fries, I'm a one-issue voter. And that issue is renaming the Gulf of Mexico, because for me, it's personal. I don't like to come on here and get personal, but today it needs to be said. Last year, my grandpa was in the hospital. We were all sitting there with him. Me, my mom, my dad, my cousin Luigi, just sitting in the room. Boop. Boop, boop. All of a sudden, my grandpa wakes up out of his coma. He said, "Did they rename it the Gulf of America yet?" I had to take his hand and I said, "No, they didn't, Pop Pop." Boo! That's what got him. That's what killed him. It wasn't the insurance companies denying his claim. It was the Gulf of Mexico. I can't even say it without getting a bad taste in my mouth. He wouldn't have even needed to be in the hospital if it was called the Gulf of America. So I say, yeah, let's rename it. Too many people are getting hurt out here. I've been needing a reason to buy new maps anyway. I already threw my globe out. That thing was too round for me anyway. I miss you every day, Pop Pop.
Is it all a distraction? Yeah, partially. Trump's going to do a lot of really shitty things for everyday Americans, all right? I mean, you got to make sure that he doesn't destroy what little is left of, say, Medicare, Medicaid, that kind of stuff. They could go after it if everyone is talking about other things. If everyone's talking about how, yeah, why are the lights suddenly turning off in all of New York? And it's like, well, because we're not getting energy from Canada anymore. And it's like, okay, well, let's concentrate on that then. The enemy here, clearly, is Canadians. Canadians turning off our lights. We got to stop them, put a stop to them, and then turn them into Americans so we can get America larger. We need Greenland, too. We need to distract you. What about healthcare? What about Americans getting healthcare? I want Americans to have healthcare. I want them to have a public healthcare option. I want them to be able to not have to pay at the point of receiving service for a variety of things, because I think that'll make them healthier. I want them to have more access to mental health care because they happen to have a lot of weaponry and guns, and like it's just going to make the whole world healthier if Americans are healthier. So that's a noble thing. But instead of doing that, again, because that would really hurt things like private insurance companies, private insurance CEOs, and the profit they can make, let's keep distracting everyone. Let's distract everyone. Instead of talking about how the wildfires right now that are raging across LA and are burning, thousands, over 10,000 homes destroyed, tons and tons of people displaced, tons and tons of destruction. Instead of talking about that, let's talk about Muslim grooming gangs in the UK. Let's talk about anything else. Let's not talk about climate change. Let's not talk about actual things that'll help people's lives. Let's keep distracting everybody. Keep getting everyone mad. Keep getting everyone angry at each other, and keep everyone fighting. If the working class is all fighting each other, because there are way more than there are billionaires. There's about what, like 2,000 billionaires in America who are fucking things up for the rest of the world. Well, then as long as we keep fighting each other, as long as we keep hating each other, as long as Canadians and Americans think they're on the verge of war, Mexicans and Americans think they're on the verge of war, Canadians and Mexicans, apparently because Canadian politicians want to throw blame at Mexico and then want to throw blame secondhand at China, as long as we all just hate each other, as long as every working class person thinks that other working class people are their enemy, then we're just going to continue to fall for this shit over and over and over. Donald Trump can keep getting away with all this bullshit. The guy is a convicted criminal, serial rapist, and yet you don't talk about that. You talk about how, well, wouldn't it be fun if Canada suddenly became the 51st state? Isn't that hilarious? Well, instead of me becoming an American, how about all of us become human? What about that? We can do it right now. We don't even need Donald Trump's approval. We don't need Justin Trudeau's approval. We don't need Claudia Sheinbaum's approval. We all become humanists, humans, united, because we all are. We could do that, and then we could work towards some new project. Say, instead of this whole, like, Canada becomes America, or America becomes Canada, or America becomes Canada and Mexico, what about some kind of united thing where we're all working collectively together to make lives better for each other, and then we can all collectively work to try and stop the people who are fucking up our lives, multinational corporations, billionaires, people with all the power, wealth, and capital under capitalism, thems, and then we can redistribute a lot of the assets they already own that they're not really doing much with, because billionaires really don't know how to have fun. It seems like instead of doing the things that every single one of us like fantasizes about, like, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do with all your money? I would go to Epstein Island. That's what you're doing, billionaires? You've got all the resources, money in the world. You could do the most amazing things ever, and you're all fucking pedos? That sucks. That's the worst possible fucking thing you could do with unlimited resources. Shame on all of you. You should all be in prison. You should all be in jail, and you should not have any wealth or assets anymore. For the rest of us, we could enjoy some things, What about if housing was just like a human right? Every single person, guaranteed housing. It could be done. There's other places that have done this before. We could do things like that. What if we had all kinds of human rights? What if access to healthcare, access to higher education? I like doctors. They save our lives. I like them. So what if we get more doctors, because you don't have to go bankrupt by going to university to become a doctor? Encourage more people to become doctors. Incentivize it even. And then you don't have to worry. And then there are people who just aren't cut out to be doctors, like me. I just do not have the fucking capacity to open up organs and save people's lives that way. So I think they're crucial and necessary, and we should really be thanking them. Nurses too. Nurses are fucking awesome. We need more nurses, and nurses shouldn't be saddled with student debt for the rest of their lives, worried about paying that shit off. So free public higher education. We can do these kind of things. We could have a set of standards, basic human rights that every single person is entitled to. And then true meritocracy could take off, because we don't really have true meritocracy. We always talk about it. It sounds great in theory, right? You work hard, you play by the rules, and then you too should be able to achieve your dreams or anything you want. That sounds good. That sounds awesome. Some people are born into abject poverty, though. Some people are born into homes in which they're abused. Some people have really shitty parents. Some people are persecuted for the color of their skin. That shit all sucks. So if we had a standard of living that was equitable, that gave everybody equal rights, gave people the same opportunities, well then, hey, guess what? You finally get to get the thing you want. You finally get to see what happens when people are given the opportunity to have a good life, and that they have the resources to do it. And there's going to be some people who just can't, but they should still be taken care of. They shouldn't suffer as well, and we can all be united in this. We can all be under the same banner. We don't have to fight each other. We do have a common enemy. Guess what? It's not aliens, all right? It's not the lizard people. It's not the Illuminati. It's billionaires, and also climate change. We got to solve that thing internationally together. We can't keep competing against one another under the whole capitalist nonsense. It's causing a lot of problems. Places are burning. The homes are being destroyed. We need to work together on that. We could do this too. It sounds like a better idea, right?
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This independent series is made entirely possible thanks to our patrons. It was produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Bohem, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, and Words Greenwood. Not to mention all the other patrons you now see on screen. We couldn't have done this show without you. If you can help support the show, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus secret episodes as well as get the content before anyone else.